Can you turn your mic on?
Yes.
Great. So we'll be starting the broadcast now. So I'm going to give the group a minute to switch over, and then we'll turn on the cameras. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to turn you now so you can see the room.
Oh, that's excellent. Hello.
You're not on the big screen yet. We're putting you on the big screen now. Okay, everyone. We're ready to start session 3. And we're very honored to have Ms. Burcu Tezcan Ünal. She's giving her hangout from Dubai. And she's going to talk to us about technology in education, teachers, friend, or foe. Ms. Ünal. Okay, you can start, Burcu, when you're ready.
Hi. I thought you were going to ask me questions, but let me just start introducing my situation, if you like. I worked in Turkey at Bilgi University for a long time. I took several different roles there. And suddenly I gave a decision, I gave everything up, and I came here. And I found myself in a similar situation. Again, I worked at Bilgi. I worked at a preparatory program, English preparatory program, preparing students to the university disciplines in terms of English. The program I'm working for right now is the same, similar program. However, the context is completely different. At Bilgi 2-3 years ago, when we had the first projectors in the classes, we were very excited. That was our technology. We didn't have Wi-Fi, anything like that. But my current situation is completely opposite. Everywhere is high-tech. In each classroom, almost in each classroom, there's Apple TV. Wi-Fi is everywhere, broadband Wi-Fi everywhere, every corner of the university. I don't even talk about projectors. And all the students have to have iPads. That's the only requirement from the students because the context is a government university, and government universities are free for students. The only thing they need to have is iPads. And our books are on the iPads, so we use e-books. So as a person who came from Bilgi with limited access to technology, I found it a little bit challenging to get used to the new environment.
What do you find? What do you find is the most challenging thing about the move from a less technological university to a more technological university?
First of all, even though I am somewhere in the middle. I am not a super techno-savvy person or a technophobe. I'm in the middle, but it was the very first time I was able to actually implement technology with no basically restrictions. And the system encouraged us to use technology as much as possible in the classroom. Therefore, I needed to learn some apps with the students that I could use with the students. For example, I'm frequently using Edmodo. The e-books are, yeah, I mean, I implement e-books, and I mean, that was the most important thing. That was the most important challenge or adaptation, let's say, in an environment where constant Wi-Fi, constant access to iPads. I mean, students forget their books, but they don't forget their iPads. So I didn't have that problem, for example. That's something that I will talk about in the positive side of technology.
What about from a teacher's perspective, preparing for your lessons? Did you find you had a heavier workload when you have more technology to deal with, or do you have a lighter workload?
I think it can get as heavy as you are ready for. if you feel stressed, which sometimes we find ourselves stressed because we would like to do our best and we would like to implement different ones, because there are so many apps, so many things to learn, so many sites to screen, you know, and I feel it is sometimes overwhelming, actually. There are so many. One tip I would perhaps suggest is perhaps choose few good ones that you are comfortable using with and master in those. Sometimes you get used to one of them. For example, Edmodo, I feel quite comfortable with Edmodo, but another person says that, oh, you should try Schoology, or oh, Shobi is better. So what's happening is that I have to learn Shobi as well. I have to learn Schoology as well. And the passwords and every register that, register the other. I don't know. I'm a person who believes in quality in teaching, not like 5 different kinds of apps. Do you know what I mean? That's
Also,
one of
another
the most.
thing that people have talked about is when you have technology in the classroom, iPads or phones, that the students tend to be distracted sometimes. How do you keep your students attentive to the lesson?
Sometimes it's like that is faux. That's definitely faux. I mean, just imagine. I'm not sure how many people are checking their social media right now in the room. Imagine you suddenly, like, your friend is sending a message on BBM or WhatsApp or somewhere on Facebook or whatever, or Instagram. My students love Instagram. Would you like to continue like listening to me, or would you like to answer your friends? I mean, my students are only 18 years old, and they want to. Of course, it's easier, it's more fun to contact with their friends. It's constant distraction.
Well, how do you cope with the distraction?
I'm not sure if I can cope. First of all, they are 18, 19 years old. I never can confiscate their gadgets. I don't want to do that. I tell them, I speak to them, I try to convince them. And I remember when I was 18 years old. And I try to be tolerant, I try to be jokey, I try to be angry, I try different styles of dealing with the problem. But it is an issue. It is an issue.
What about your colleagues in your department? Do you find that because you have such a tech-savvy school, all the instructors have a very high level of technical knowledge, or do you have some people who are just in the learning stages while other people are more advanced? And how does it work as a department?
Actually, it's a very good question. There are all kinds of them. Some of them are really, really into it, and they want to use it in every class in a pretty competent way, like Educan and Shobi, everything. They implement these things very, very well. And a group is a little bit skeptical, but they are giving a chance. I think I am like in this group. And there is a group they are really, really not so into it. They're finding it really, really challenging. However, everyone has to use it, and they found their way. So even the teachers who have the most traditional background or who are very, very technophobe style, they got used to using it somehow. There are different ideas and ranges. However, my point is, I don't think that the people who are using it excellently and in a perfect way do not do better jobs than those who don't use technology very well. I believe that because I saw some classes, part of my probationary period was to observe a couple of classes, and I chose to observe some classes who use technology, and let's say that I saw very interesting use of technology.
What do you mean?
The meaning, the people who use technology or who are set to use use technology well or widely, I'm not sure it coincided with the ELT, but I have an ELT background. I think the group doesn't only
The mixed
have
group.
this kind of mixed group. But let's say like pedagogical side of teaching, I didn't find it very impressive. So I don't believe that technology brings a quality learning, or it guarantees enhanced learning. I'm skeptical about that. And if you look at the research, which is very limited because iPads just appeared in 2012. The research at the moment is very, very limited, and it doesn't guarantee that it enhances learning. Yes, I agree that it is practical, and it gives you a lot of opportunities. For example, finding warmers is great. You can find warmers so easily, images, videos related to your theme very easily. There are tons of different sites that you can ask your students to go and self-study, immediate feedback. Yeah, I mean, planning lessons, making PowerPoint, it's very easy with like cutting, pasting, etc. Yeah, that's why I gave this title, Friend or Foe. It's definitely our friend, but sometimes it is our foe as well. Last week I had a lot of incidents. For example, updates came, maybe you noticed, EOS 8 came, and a lot of apps needed to be updated. And half of my students lost their books. Half of them managed to find them. Half of them forgot their password. Half of them forgot the access codes. So it was a struggle. It has been a struggle. Also giving feedback. I don't know if I still have time, but
yes, go ahead.
There are various ways of giving feedback thanks to technology. Very nice. I mean, you can use Notability, you can use voice recorders, etc. However, sometimes just giving plain feedback on a piece of paper is faster and easier, and perhaps more effective. For example, sometimes I give my students plain sentence making, you know, and they write it on their iPads, on the pages, or on a notes section. And there are obviously some mistakes, and I would like to attract your attention to it. It's more difficult to write it on the, I find it difficult, let's say, or if I correct it together with them, some of them listen, some of them don't listen. If I use a different color, perhaps it works, but you know, it's not as smooth, or maybe I'm old-fashioned. What else can I say?
Well, are there any things that you'd like to do with the technology that you find that you can't do or you need help to do, that you would want to implement in your class for later, like later down the road?
I couldn't understand the first half of the question. Are there any technological apps that I would like to could you please ask again?
Apps, but are there any ideas that you have that you would like to implement in your classroom, like in a technological way, that would make either your workload lighter or make the learning environment easier or more beneficial for the students? Anything you can think of that you'd like to do?
I'd like to learn how to implement Educanon a bit better. I just know about it roughly.
What is Educanon?
Educanon is a video app or video site, let's say. There are some exercises. Students watch a video, and while watching, there are questions appearing. And as I said, I'm not 100% good, and actually, I know very little about it. So I'd like to learn that a bit better. I'm guessing that students might benefit from that side.
Mm-hmm. What about for professional development? Is there any, like I know that you've done a lot working with professional development in the field of ELT. So you think that educational technology has a place in ELT? I mean, will it be something that teachers will definitely need to have for the future?
Certainly. I always say that the teachers who have been in the business for years and years, including myself, 20 odd years I've been in this business, I've become a novice. Suddenly I've become a novice, and all these teachers. On the other hand, I'm quite competent with the pedagogy of English language teaching, and I know the good what is good teaching and what has to and what it has to entail. However, doing that with technology is a challenge, and doing that with technology competently is another challenge. I think we all need to learn better, I suppose, and find a good balance of good teaching, quality teaching, and using technology at the right place, right time.
All right. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Now I'm going to open it up for the audience if they have any questions for you.
Sure.
Well, how would you describe your dream classroom with or without technology? Because, well, I studied here in Istanbul Technical University, and I can say that we used a little technology, and my instructors thought that they were good and they were teaching, but I can say that I nearly learned nothing in the university. So, well, the teachers always think that they are teaching, but in real life, in fact, none of the things that they teach, well, a little does work out really well, because people expect you to have different skills in life. So what do you think your dream classroom should look like in classroom wise, in technology wise, in teacher wise, or the students? How do you imagine them to be?
What do I think? What's my dream about the classroom?
Yeah, well, if you were to have a good classroom, how would you just define it?
The ideal classroom.
Yes.
Ideal classroom. I wish I could switch off the Wi-Fi from time to time.
Okay.
Because of the preventing the distraction, social media distraction. I'm not sure. The ideal classroom. I am in an ideal situation, I think. It's very easy to access to all the sites that is possible to access. Our challenge is our student factor. Students are pretty lazy. It's very difficult to motivate. I heard a little bit about the previous presentation, and I am happy to hear that how teachers motivated their students with the help of the technology. I couldn't catch what age they were. Were they sixth graders?
Fifth graders.
Fifth graders. Yeah, I guess age is another factor. I mean, my students are 18 and 19. Yeah, collaboration always works. Sometimes, honestly, to be completely honest, when I bring paper worksheets, I find a lot more enthusiasm and motivation in class. It's very interesting, perhaps opposite of what you experience. They are more engaged, honestly. The other day, I experienced something like with pieces of paper, plain dictation activity. A dictates the paragraph to B, and B dictates the paragraph to C, and stuff like that. They did it. They were 100% engaged. Do you understand? I mean, I think as teachers we always experiment what would work, what wouldn't work, and I'm glad that there is an opportunity for us to improve.
Are there any more? Any other one have a question? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we really appreciate you phoning in or hanging out with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's very interesting, and I felt like I was part of my previous communities.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Trying to stop.